afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Behind the Mic here in our beautiful MusicTown studios on the second floor of Hockeytown, downtown Detroit. And I apologize, we're a few minutes late, but we wanted to make sure we were ready. So we are now, and we are ready to go because I've got a very special guest in here today, along with the band. And so welcome, Jesse Palter.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Oh, excited to have you here. Thank you so much. Yeah, and of course you are in town, so it was like the perfect timing. You know, get
Worked
this
out.
Yes, I know. It's like sometimes it's like, how about this day? How about that? You know.
Exactly.
And,
but thank you so much. For
Absolutely, absolutely.
Allowing me to play some tunes with this amazing band.
Yes, I'm anxious to hear them. So, but we're going to find out a little bit about you because maybe someone is not completely familiar with you, and then of course we delve into some Pam exam questions, which dig a little deeper.
Goodness. Okay, cool.
Not your typical music questions, but and anxious to hear all of this. So, as I mentioned, you're in town.
Yep.
You are from this area. You were born here in
Exactly.
the Metro Detroit area. So it's not like you're, coming in from somewhere else, a different national.
Coming back home from Los Angeles, which is
Yes.
where I live now, and I've lived for the last 9 years.
Okay.
But coming home is amazing. The energy here, the hometown love, it's incredible.
How long has it been since you've been back home?
Since I've been back home from the last time I was back home, just a few months.
Oh, okay.
I have nieces. I try and make it home whenever I can. Occasionally I'll pick up a gig. But family's so important to me, so
Yes.
it's really nice to come back and see them whenever I can.
Are you from a big family?
I'm from a close family. We're not massive, but the love is massive. And these nieces, they're just like so delicious, and I want to come back and see them. They grow so quickly, so I try and make it whenever I can.
Yes. Well, and I get that. I mean, family. It's cool to hear you say that. Especially hard when you're out touring and you've moved away. Did you also live in Chicago? Did I?
I did.
Oh, okay.
I did. Yeah, I was in Chicago for 3 years, and it was a great music city to be part of. I was really incorporated with the scene there.
Mm-hmm.
Sam, who's in town from Los Angeles as well, is also from Chicago. We actually met when he was living in New York and I was living in Detroit. But I think Chicago, New York, Detroit, LA are all part of our situation.
They're all
Nice.
part of our story.
Yeah, they're all
Well,
part of
cool. And I love the fact that Detroit, when people are talking music, Detroit has become, I mean, it always was, but it kind of relaxed a little bit, as far as the music scene, and people were leaving, that just felt Detroit wasn't where it was at, but it has so come back and is such a thriving music scene here that it's really cool when Detroit's on that list, LA, Austin, New York, Chicago,
I am really proud to be from Detroit. It's a huge part of who I am. My favorite thing is when somebody comes to a gig in Los Angeles and they're like, how did you learn to sing with so much soul? And my answer every single time is always, I'm from Detroit. I say, I got you, girl. It makes sense. So, I mean, it's an amazing thing to be part of this history of music that is so rich. I was influenced by Motown and the amazing musicians that have come from Detroit and the peers that I grew up playing with. And it's now an amazingly cool city. I'm blown away because when I grew up playing here, we didn't have like a Pure Bar outside and I just recently went to eat at a restaurant in downtown Detroit and there was a Pure Bar. I was like, what is happening?
Crazy, isn't it?
It is gentrified now.
We love it.
But it's still cool. Detroit is so cool. There's so much soul. There's so much spirit. The people from Detroit are real salt of the earth, Midwest people, and I'm so proud to consider myself one of them.
Yes. You don't ever want to like hide the fact. Now it's cool. Yeah,
Right.
That's cool. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, for sure.
I never wanted to hide the fact. I can say that.
Good. Thank you. For someone myself, born and raised here and, never really left. So
that's awesome.
That's cool. So we talked about family and your influence and stuff. Did you grow up in a musical family as well?
I did.
Okay.
So my dad's mother was actually a child prodigy opera singer.
Oh.
So my dad was raised in a musical environment, and he passed that on to me. Both my parents are music lovers, and they exposed me to a ton of music from the time I was a wee little tot. And I picked it up. I was performing from the get-go. And my sister actually is very musical as well. She went to Northwestern University and majored in musical theater.
Okay.
So very different from me, but there was just always tons of music around the house. I was always doing it, piano lessons. I, played the trumpet. I played the oboe, always singing, doing theater, musical theater. But and then when I really found songwriting, it made so much sense for me as probably inherently a sensitive artist type, as a way to like navigate my experience through living life as an emotional little being. And that's when I really knew, okay, this is what I need to do. This is my calling.
Do you remember about what age that was?
I think I wrote my first song when I was 13.
That's pretty young.
Yeah. I was always like, prior to that, I was always singing my own melodies and, putting my own flair on things, but really like my own song from start to finish. And it was around the time that I got connected with an amazing singer-songwriter by the name of Andrew Gold.
Oh, yeah.
Who's legendary
Yes.
and one of the real 70s California Eagles, Linda Ronstadt singer-songwriters. He had his own career, as I'm sure you know. Lonely Boy is an amazing song. And I reached out to him when I was 13 years old. And
Wait. You reached out to
this
him
is true.
at 13?
Yep.
Would
yep.
you?
AOL. I hit him up on AOL. I was like, I'm the next thing.
Oh,
we should work together.
I love that.
And I think he thought it was hilarious. I mean, his career was so established at that point. The Golden Girls theme song, the Mad About You theme song, his own solo career, Linda Ronstadt, the Stone Ponies. He was musically directing. But he was probably looking to develop a young artist. And he just thought I was hilarious. So he was like, give me a call at this number. And I did. And my parents held up the phone so that I could sing. A Jewish girl from West Bloomfield, Michigan, and I sang the Christmas song. So even then, I loved the beautiful chord changes of Mel Torme, and I sang it on the phone. And he said to my parents, "Drive her down to Nashville, I'll produce music for her."
Oh my gosh!
And I learned about the importance of songwriting from him. He was really adamant about telling your own story, and it didn't hurt that while I was there, one of the very first times working with him in Nashville, he got a royalty check for Golden Girls going on DVD. Oh. And I was like, okay, all right. I see the importance of songwriting. But just to have a way for me to express myself is really important for me. It's been incredibly therapeutic. And this record that I just released is 10 songs that are just straight from my heart, my life. I threw it all into the music, and that's a huge thrill for me.
And we're going to talk about that, how you transitioned and all of that, and hear the songs from that. But I just have to ask, why? I'm going to go back to Andrew Gold here. In my head, I'm thinking, okay, you're 13.
Yeah.
So exactly how did you choose him over someone else?
Oh, my God. I was probably
I'm really
searching
curious.
something on the internet, and I was like, this guy looks legit.
Okay.
My dad actually knew of Andrew Gold and was a fan of his career, so he probably gave me his seal of approval. But I must have hit up several producers at the time. I mean, I was like, let's go. Come on. I'm ready. And he found it to be amazing, which is great because he didn't have to respond.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And as you said, he thought it was funny,
Yeah.
But I would think at this point, it's like, he's got this huge career already.
Yeah.
I mean, he's established.
Yep.
It's like, this could be fun or interesting. Let's try a different turn here.
Yeah.
I can just see the...
Or maybe like initially it was like, this could be a good story for me to tell my friends. And then when I sang to him, he was like, all right, I'm looking for something,
Cool. Very cool.
So it was an amazing experience for me. And that really laid the foundation down for me to just want to keep writing music.
Well, and plus, someone like that is very well connected.
Yes.
Which is always a good thing when you're starting out in the business.
It was really cool. I don't even think I realized at the time, because I just didn't know any different. I thought, like, you write a couple songs, you record a few records, and then you go to LA and you make it big. And he actually set up a meeting for me with Lenny Warnaker, who was the president of DreamWorks Records at the time, which was a big deal.
Yeah.
In retrospect, I can see that because he's legendary. But at the time, I was like, oh, yeah, I'm meeting with Lenny Warnaker. And my mom and I flew to, I'm just going to go get a record deal. My mom and I flew to Los Angeles, and we went to the meeting at DreamWorks, and I sat down with him, and he explained to me that he had an exclusivity clause with Nick Carter from the Backstreet Boys' younger sister. So since the music that I presented was really pop-forward music, he couldn't sign me because he already had signed Leslie Carter.
Darn.
And I said to him, that's okay, because I want to be a jazz singer like Ella Fitzgerald and Etta James and Sarah Vaughan. And my mom was like kicking me under the table, like, what are you saying? And he was like,
Zip it, girl.
You gave me a really bubblegum pop record here. And I think I was working out in my soul that jazz music, improvisation music, interpretation was really calling at me.
Right.
And so I decided to go back to school. I mean, there was some other stuff that happened career-wise in between, but I went to school as a jazz major, and I learned the language and the history of jazz. And that also is a big part of my
I was going
journey.
to say, it's probably influenced you when you're still songwriting or whatever, even though this latest album is a little more popish.
Exactly.
I mean, all of that is,
Yeah.
Helps you.
I'm at my core a jazz vocalist. I approach the song like a jazz, and I worked hard to earn that title. I have realized more and more lately as I'm in music business meetings where you're working with people on how to market you, I don't hear music in terms of genre. It's like a very fluid experience for me as sound and color, and I'm not good at being like, this needs to sound like this. So I just am influenced by such a wide range of things, and I'm sure it's all in the fabric of who I am as an artist now and as a writer, and it comes out, and I had to, specifically for this project, try and shut off trying to be anything because the president of the record company that I'm signed to approached me with the prospect of writing this record. And I knew that in order for it to be honest and authentic, I couldn't think about what that meant too much. I just had to write. So music to me, I can hear jazz because it's a language that I studied. So it'd be like if you learn to speak Portuguese, and there's so many little isms within that you can identify this is Portuguese, but like you can't identify, like I can't hear the wide range of other Latin languages and relationships, and that's kind of what music is like to me. So I don't think it's my job to do that. I think genre is very much a music industry term, and I understand the importance of these people that are trying to market your record to be able to play something in a box, but I can't be concerned about that. So
be true to yourself, right?
Yeah.
Okay, time for a song.
Yes. Let's do it.
Yay.
Oh, man.
All right, and this is from the new album?
This is from the new album.
Awesome.
This one's called The Wrong Girl.
Okay. Jesse Palter.
Baby, 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 tell me why you gotta be so mean. Baby, 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 you're the meanest that I've ever seen. I can't wait until that moment that you have to own when karma does just what it should. Baby, 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 'cause revenge is here to taste so good. Don't you know by now that what you get is what you give? And I found your motive to be one hand and forgive. With your cards out on the table, I'm sure I'll be able to have the final word. Baby, 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 'cause you messed with the wrong girl. The wrong girl, playing with fire. The wrong girl, I dare you to try her. The wrong girl, you never would have guessed. You messed with the wrong girl. Would you take it back and do it different if you could? Tread another track to right the wrong that has occurred. If you thought I don't believe in, yeah, for good and even, well then you misunderstood. Baby, 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 'cause revenge is gonna taste so good. The wrong girl, you're playing with fire. The wrong girl, I dare you to try her. The go on into ride. Never forget it. No wrong girl, always gonna regret it. No wrong girl, does the best with the wrong. Yeah, 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 you can mess with the wrong. You think it's fire. Ooh, I dare you to try her. Not that you never would. Yes, yes. Whoa, 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 mess with the wrong. She cut right through you. Knows every way to undo you. But you never would guess that you never would mess with the wrong. You better watch your back now.
Nice.
Thank you.
Jesse Palter. And band. Why don't you introduce all your band members
Sure.
here?
This is Sasha Kershperko, Sam Barsh on the keys, Marquise Johnson on the drums, Damon Wormack on the bass.
Cool. And do you do all the vocals, or do any of these guys pitch in on vocals?
Well, so believe it or not, actually, these three guys, this is one of the first times they're all playing my music. We came to town and I thought it would be pretty special to use a mostly Detroit backing band. So I
Awesome.
don't know, do any of you guys sing? You guys want to sing any background vocals? They're like, no,
They're like, no.
I can't. Barsh has sung before.
I don't sing
Oh, no.
unless people make me.
Oh, here we go. Barsh is not shy about using the mic.
Awesome. Well, that's cool that you decided to gather up these people because, that's
I
another.
thought that would be special.
Yeah.
It's cool. They're great, and they're killing it. They, it's not easy to do this music because they're I guess hooky poppy songs, but there's enough in there where it's not just like there's a little bit of part learning going on. So thank you guys so much.
Nice. True musicians, when they can just all of a sudden join in and it sounds like you guys have been playing, together many, many, many times. So
Yeah.
good. Awesome. You mentioned the school. You went to, is it U of M you went to?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you were in the school department or school
I was in
program?
the music department there. Yep. So my major was, I think, technically jazz and contemplative studies.
Contemplative?
Contemplative studies.
Ooh, that's a
I'm
mouthful.
still contemplating what contemplative studies means.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever heard that.
Yeah. I was in a practice room. I was in theory class. I was playing with ensembles. It was cool. The real school for me was the bandstand, getting out and actually doing gigs around town and having the Detroit audiences say, which they were not shy about telling me what I needed to work on. And
Really?
there is this is true. This is true. They were my teachers. But I was a sponge, and I just wanted to be the best artist that I possibly could be. So, I took it all really seriously and took everything that was said to me to heart. And then, of course, you pick and choose what you like. And,
Right.
there is a piano player by the name of Mike Jellick, who's a jazz pianist in the Detroit area. And once I connected with him, I think I was 18. He became one of my greatest teachers. He and I would sit at the piano for 12 hours and we'd talk about music. And, we were young, so we had the time to go to record stores and we'd buy records and transcribe it. And he whipped me in shape big time. So I definitely credit him as being probably my greatest teacher. And then, of course, just like playing with amazing musicians, you got to rise to their level.
Yeah, you want to make sure you have a good backing sound, like, talent.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of musicians in town, but
It was important to me to be a musician above just being the singer in front of the band. Like, I wanted to hang with the musicians. I wanted to be able to have the dialogue with them. And so that's why I learned piano and I went to school for it and, worked really, really hard in a practice room for a long time. And so that was always very important to me.
Do you play the piano when you're out performing, or do you pretty much just do the vocals?
I pretty much do the vocals. I'll hop on the piano occasionally. I'll play some auxiliary parts. I play the piano when I write my songs. And so, yeah, it's primarily used at this point as a compositional tool. And maybe that's because I have such a deep respect for amazing pianists like Sam that are just incredible virtuosos.
Yeah.
And so I focus on mainly doing the singing. But it's cool to be able to hop on the piano and play my songs. And at this point, it's really primarily used as a tool to help me get the ideas out.
Which you do, the songwriting is a huge part of your music,
that's my
obviously.
love.
So do you have a process, or is,
I wish I did.
Some artists can sit down and go,
Right.
okay, I'm going to write a song. Boom,
Right.
whatever. Most artists know, but
Yeah.
do you have something?
Sometimes that happens. Sometimes you can sit down and you say, I'm going to write a song. I don't have one process. I love watching interviews, and I'll sit down and I'll look up interviews by Paul McCartney and John Lennon and Billy Joel and try and hear other people talk about their process all the time. I don't have one process. I have found more and more that it's a discipline, and a lot of times it's just about showing up. And I have voice memos, from here to tomorrow of little melodies that I get in my head as I'm out and about walking, and I'll just grab my voice memo and app and record something really quick. And I've got in my notes on my phone tons of ideas and constant doodles on papers around my house. But sometimes you get the little birdie over your left shoulder that's like the muse, and it gives you a song. And that happened a couple of times on this record. And then sometimes it's just about showing up and trying and noodling and like chasing the song. And that was the commitment that I made to myself when I was writing this record, because record companies, a lot of times, they like to hear you continue to work. And so it'd be like, send one more, send one more, send one more.
Do they make the final decision of what is on the album?
This label was actually really artist friendly. They the president has a really good ear for music, and he was very vocal about what songs he really liked. And once I proved to them that I was able to be prolific as a writer, and they offered me the deal, they were fairly hands-off with me whittling down the material, because at that point I had so many songs.
It must have been hard to choose.
What?
It must have been hard to choose.
Yeah, the producer helped with that.
Okay.
But they were really incredibly supportive of who I am as an artist and, my vision and such, which I'm incredibly grateful for.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is that Mac Avenue?
Mac Avenue. So I'm
Records,
signed to the artistry music division of Mac Avenue, which is more of their crossover work. But they're a Detroit-founded label that's now based out of Los Angeles. And so I'm a Detroit-founded artist that's now based out of Los Angeles. It was very appealing to me.
I would imagine they like that, too. Got some giggling going on over there. Did we miss something?
Are you giggling about something, Barshi?
No,
No?
I was just, you smiled and
Yeah.
looked at me, so I reacted by smiling.
I appreciate the positive feedback. A smile for a smile.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. Very cool. How about we go to another song?
Yeah, let's do it. This is the title track.
Oh, okay.
This is actually one of those birdie over the left shoulder muse-based songs that I was trying to write every single day, and some days it was coming out, and then some days it was like I needed to do little things that inspired me. And so I took a pause from, I was sitting at the piano and I was playing, and I didn't feel particularly inspired this morning. And so then, of course, you go to the negative artist place in your head where you're like, I'm a terrible writer, I'm a terrible artist. Took a breather, logged onto Facebook, and a photo, which is the source of all great inspiration. A photo of myself and an ex-boyfriend popped up.
Oh.
And we were so happy in this photo. And he's not in my life anymore. And I just stared at this photo for a good long while and thought to myself, I'm like, once you're in my, like, I'm the type of person that I'm so nostalgic. And when I love you, ride or die. And this guy's not in my life anymore. And profoundly struck me that you can give of your whole heart to somebody and then they can just be gone, and all you're left with is a photograph of a couple of smiling faces of people that you don't really remember. And so that was exactly the inspiration that I needed to write the song. And I crawled over to the piano, and it came out like pretty much from start to finish. And so I am thrilled because that's just straight from my soul.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And the title is?
This one's called Paper Trail, which is the title of the record.
Yes.
I must admit, I've come across a photograph of us and wondered once or twice where we went wrong. As I stared right at her smile's frozen like ice, suffice to say, I have a knack for sentimental things, and yeah, I've paid a price. It's hard for me to let go once it's ended, but admit it can't be mended. That's just how I choose to roll the dice. I don't remember who I was when I was who I was with you. I don't remember who you were when you were there with me too. I don't remember who I was when I was who I was with you. I don't remember who you were when you were there with me too. All that's left to show this paper trail of everything that we let go. I guess we'll never know where we could have been if our love had a chance to grow. But this photo to remind us it was nice for just a moment in time. It's been a while, but there are still some things I can't forget, no matter how I try, like how I cried when I questioned if our love would live or die. Why, oh why, I made a list of all the things about you that I like, and I couldn't deny that you were perfect on paper. I had nothing bad to say except you weren't perfect for me in real life. I don't remember who I was when I was who I was with you. I don't remember who you were when you were there with me too. No, I don't remember who I was when I was who I was with you. I don't remember who you were when you were there with me too. And all that's left to show is paper trail of everything that we let go. I guess we'll never know where we could have been if our love had a chance to grow. But this photo to remind us it was nice for just a moment. And all that's left to show is paper trail of everything that we let go. I guess we'll never know where we could have been if our love had a chance to grow. But this photo to remind us of the best of us behind us. Looking back, I saw it come, wouldn't trade just a moment in time. It was nice for just a moment in time. It was nice for just a moment in time.
Nice. Paper
Thank you.
Trails, title track from the brand new CD, which actually is coming out. Is it
It's out.
just now?
It is out.
Like a
It's
couple
on
days.
Spotify. It's on Amazon Music. It's on Apple Music. It's on Tidal. It's on, what's the other one? Deezer? Is that what it's called? Varsha, you yeah, it's on
Deezer?
Deezer. It's on all the places. On SoundCloud. And that's amazing. I've waited a really long time for this, so it's like it hasn't completely hit me yet. I think it will tomorrow when I'm at
Yes.
the show at the Magic Bag.
Yeah. Make sure everybody knows that you actually have a CD release party here.
I do.
Tomorrow,
Tomorrow at the Magic Bag.
Yes.
And, people can get tickets online, which I would highly recommend. And the doors open at 8. We're going to play the album, which is
Okay.
thrilling. And I just get to be with all of the people that saw me singing, when I was this tall to where I'm at right now. And that's really exciting.
That's
so.
got to be fun just to, be performing again, and especially family who's still here, to perform with them and see them. And
Absolutely.
I'm sure mom and dad are proud.
Yeah. Oh, that's sweet. I hope so.
Actually, she had mom in here earlier. It's like, I
Yeah.
know, get
She's
a
a
chance
proud
to be.
mama.
Yeah.
She's the best.
You could tell. That was cool. That was cool. And of course, thanks to mom, always the music that you had in your home, which was a big part of it too. So
Absolutely. This was a family affair getting to this point. I remember when I first was starting to be shopped to labels, my family had a kitchen table discussion where we all sat
Love it.
down because it was a lot of, my parents have invested in all 3 of their kids. And we all sat down at the table and it was like, look, this is going to be time consuming. Jesse's really serious about this. Does anybody have any objections? And everybody in my family, my brother, my sister, everybody said, we're in it 100%. So I owe so much of this to my family.
I love that. Just
Yeah.
they were very supportive. Makes a big difference.
It
Makes a
does.
big
It
difference
does.
when you don't have that family behind you.
Yeah.
You need that to feel. For yourself, but that little extra that says, yeah, I'm good at this.
Yep.
So
Yep.
families are good for
Somebody
that.
to just give you encouragement and pick you
Yeah.
up because it has not been an easy road.
Yeah. Music is, if you're going to commit yourself to this,
Yep.
it's a lot more than most people think.
And everybody told me not to do it.
Oh,
and
really?
they told my parents not to do it, not because they didn't believe in the talent, but everybody, the people that are in the industry just said, this is really tough.
Yeah.
And then they tell you there are a million other people that are doing it. And I didn't listen to any of that. It wasn't even like I had a choice. It was like, this is what I'm doing, so I guess I better figure it out. But to have
like
my
that.
family as the backbone, helping me along the way has
Got to
been
follow your
paramount.
heart, and
Yeah.
and I love the fact is like, well, no, this is it. I just got to figure it out. I love that.
Thank you.
A lot of people are just like, "Ugh, this is too hard and hang it up and whatever. But
So weird that I'm more nervous for this than I would be to perform. I'm
for the Pam exam, the Pam
I
exam?
haven't taken an exam and I don't know how long.
No,
Oh,
don't be
goodness.
nervous.
Okay.
Don't be nervous. They're
All
just
right.
random questions,
Okay.
and they're geared for you. But if someone has they really want to answer,
Yeah.
you got to get on mic to
might
do
need
that.
to cheat off y'all's exams a little bit, so
No, don't worry. It's just random.
Cool.
Just random and off the top of your head. What is your go-to song to sing in the shower?
Ooh, I don't sing in the shower.
The answer's that. Most people say it's got good acoustics.
A
and
song
you
of
can
my
just-
own. I write music in the shower.
There you go.
That's my go-to.
There you go. Do you have like some kind of a marker that can be erased and
No,
stay
I
on the
just
walls?
hop out the shower when the idea comes, and then there's just water all over the. Yeah, water all over.
We already answered that one. What is your guilty pleasure?
Ooh, guilty pleasure.
Something to do with food.
Yeah.
Go food. Let's
Yeah,
use
like
that.
after 11 p.m. I'm super healthy, and then after 11 p.m. it's like all bets are off, and I just occasionally, especially if I've had a couple glasses of wine, all of a sudden it's like give me all the chocolate in the world. That's probably my guilty
Okay.
pleasure. Or like bloggers, like I'm into bloggers, and I'll watch their stories, and sometimes the people that are around me can be annoyed by that because you hear all these like fashion blogger stories. Yeah. So those, yeah.
Okay. Excuse me. Most memorable music moment.
Oh my God, I've had so many. Tomorrow at the Magic Bag. That's the most memorable one.
Again, thinking ahead and forward. Okay. See, the positive you. It's going to be a fantastic. I'm going to have some great memories. It's going to be
Yes.
a great show. I love that. I
Absolutely.
love that about your
Thank you.
disposition. Favorite non-music pastime.
Hiking with my dogs.
Oh, like deep woods hiking, mountain hiking.
Oh, if you can call the mountains of Griffith Park, of the Santa Monica Mountains, deep woods. I don't know if you can. I love all hiking, though.
Okay.
I love going to Malibu. It's, pretty magical in Los Angeles. You've got the beach, you've got the mountains, and I just try and get in nature, which is really kind of where I'm able to shut it all off as best as I possibly can. And I got my 2 dogs that are the loves of my life.
What are your dogs' names?
With me, Mila and Sandy. I love them. I miss them. But I'm happy to be out here.
Okay.
Working. Happy to be out here.
If you had to share a 15-minute taxi ride with someone, who would that be?
Joni Mitchell.
Oh. What would you want to know from her?
I don't know. I would be afraid to say anything. Meeting your heroes is terrifying, but I just want to be in her presence.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she's been influence for you, or
Big
just
time.
you look
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
Great songwriter. I mean, that's
it.
huge for you.
That's it. She just made me. I mean, there was no throwaways in her music. It was all about beautiful melodies and beautiful lyrics, and narrative storytelling and complex harmonies, and from start to finish, she crafted these masterful songs, and that's what I can't even put myself in the same sentence as Joni Mitchell, but at least gave me something to aspire to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that. And you knew right away. And this could be the same answer, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
Okay.
If you could have any one person in your band, and they could be dead or alive at this point, who would it be? In your band or collaborate with?
Okay. I really want to collaborate with Greg Kirsten or Max Martin, and I know that neither of them are really doing. Greg still does gigs sometimes, right? But he's mainly in the studio. Oh, Barsh is
The
coming out.
last gig I heard that he did was playing with Sia on Howard Stern.
That's pretty heavy.
I remember her saying
They-
he's really into Howard, but he doesn't play
Yeah.
anymore.
I mean, they're just like
And I'm not
masterful
familiar
pop
with
song.
them, so I should know that with
Yeah.
their musicians.
I will
but-
say, like, the musician, I got to play with a lot of musicians on this record that were dream musicians of mine. I remember the drummer on a bunch of the tracks is a guy by the name of Matt Chamberlain, and I loved Tori Amos records and Fiona Apple records and Pearl. He was in Pearl Jam, and so getting that experience was amazing. I feel really lucky. I have played with some of my musical heroes. It would be awesome if Herbie Hancock got his hands on this music. Like, I'd be really curious to see what he would do.
Well,
know.
you had no reservations about contacting Andrew Gold. Why not
I should
contact
contact
him?
I know. My manager managed Herbie for a while.
Oh,
So
come
I'll
on.
see how he feels about that.
There you go.
Pasek. We should contact Herbie.
It's out there now.
Yeah.
You're going to go driving home. It's like, Herbie Hancock. Fago, Verner's, or Town Club, since you're a Detroit girl.
Oh my God. I don't know.
Okay.
Wait, what did you say? Bagel burners?
Fago,
Oh,
Verner's,
Oh,
or
I thought you said
Town
bagel
Club.
burners. Duh, Verner's. Verner's.
Verner's?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Whoops. All right, some of these you might have answered already. If you could be, if you could be on the cover of a magazine, which one and why?
Rolling Stones.
Well, notice your
No.
shirt.
Yeah.
Turn around so the camera can see your shirt back there. Look at that. Big fan of the Stones.
And this was given to me by my dear friend Marjorie Goodson, who's an amazing artist and dancer and painter, and so I cherish
really
it also
cool.
for that sentimental reason as well. Thank you.
It is really cool. It's like, ooh, I would love one of those.
I'll let you borrow it. You can borrow it.
Any special holiday traditions?
My mom was really into the traditions. She always decorated the house. I'm trying to think. I don't know, like Hanukkah, you get gifts, you'd play dreidel.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is kind of a strange one.
Okay.
But I'm going to ask you anyway.
Let's do it.
If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Ooh. I mean, I've got like a selfish one and then a selfless one. Okay, I'll go selfless. I would have the ability to cure all illnesses and ailments of the world and, make sick children and people that are suffering all better.
Wow. Impressive. Favorite food and beverage of choice?
Favorite food is sushi. Beverage of choice is a good glass of Cabernet.
With that chocolate that you were mentioning.
With the chocolate. Only after 11 p.m.
Oh, yeah. If your life were laid out in a jigsaw puzzle, at this point, what piece would be added next?
Taking my music all over the world.
Have
Touring is a big goal of mine.
Okay.
And then having the opportunity to record and tour for the rest of my life and collaborate with people that inspire me and just continued creation at the building blocks. It's like
Keep
it
stepping
never
up.
ends,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
just keep building.
Have you toured overseas at all, or just?
I have, yeah.
Okay.
I actually just got back last week. I am amazed that I am not jet lagged because I got back on Saturday from Italy. I did a gig in Siena, which was lovely, and then did a quick gig in Los Angeles on Sunday, and then Monday I came out here. So Italy was awesome. But I just want to do more of that. I want to be able to take this music all over the world and absorb the cultures and allow that to influence my art as well. And just, kind of what I'm doing, but have it keep growing.
Yeah. And I've heard from other artists that have been in this room that have done overseas that when the people come to see them and they hear that they're from Detroit, which you can say, even though you're living in LA now, you can say that was huge for them. People
That's
were like,
awesome.
they
The
want
power
to
of
be
the
able
D.
to, they want to be able to hear the artists that are coming out of Detroit. So that was huge. So just an FYI
Very
for you
cool.
there.
Very cool.
And I'm gonna. This would be interesting too because you've been in Chicago and you're LA and all these major things. So what is the biggest obstacle in the music industry today?
Ooh, there are many. Which I say that, but then I don't want to discourage anybody that's
okay.
listening, because I think if you set your mind to it, you can figure it out. There are benefits as well. We now have, as independent artists, access to doing so much by ourselves as artists. I think it's not easy to build an audience as an emerging artist. That's,
There's so many artists out there.
There are so many.
Yeah.
Yes.
How to
And
get
I just
yourself
hate saying that,
over the crowd. Yeah.
but you got to be active on social media. You got to be out there playing gigs. That and that costs money. And it's like there are a lot of hurdles, but I just feel like even in my darkest hours of confusion and how am I going to do this, I find my fire every single time, and then I put one step forward, and the other step, and the other step, and the other step.
Absolutely.
So I think it's a challenging industry. I think that's important to address if you want to get into it. I have felt it right and left, but I keep going because the music is me, and I have to.
The music is more important than the hurdles.
Exactly.
You'll figure a way.
Yeah.
All right, we need another song.
Okay. Yeah.
So they all stand up. And you've been standing all hours.
In heels, which I just
I know.
like.
It's like
The shoes, Steve Madden. The shoes are Steve Madden, and he gave them to me. So I feel like I should be like, "Yo, what up,
impressive.
Steve Madden?" Which is really nice. He's been incredibly supportive. So that's cool.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Demons in disguise, I see it in your eyes. Nothing here to hide, no. You got what you want, save your alibis, and I'll say my goodbyes. Leave with pride like I should've done long ago. Got no worries here, won't shed a single tear. Mostly over it, oh, it's still hard to swallow. No need to restore it, I'll be better for it. That's the final blow. I hope you enjoy the best you made. Find yourself somewhere far away. Demons in disguise, but I'm all the wiser. Don't apologize, oh no, just sever the ties. Sever the ties, sever the ties. Seven fingers, sever the ties. Oh, we're done for, so better hurry up and run from it. Run. 1,000 chances, but you never learn. You can't return, so let's sever the ties. Gone out of my head from all the things you said, foolish words I was fed, the lies I told for you. Not a chance in hell I'd buy one word you still couldn't pay me enough to stay anymore. I hope you enjoy the best you made. Find yourself somewhere far away. Demons in disguise, but I'm all the wiser. No need to reprise, just sever the ties. So let's sever the ties, sever the ties, sever the ties, seven binders. Sever the ties, sever the ties, sever the ties, seven binders. The ties, sever the ties, sever the ties, seven binders. The ties, seven binders. Sever the ties, sever the ties, seven binders. Sever the ties. Done for, so better hurry up and run from it. Run, 1,000 chances, but you never learn. You can't return, so let's sever the ties. No, you never learn. Can't return, so let's sever the ties.
Thank you so much. I want to make sure everyone goes to the CD release party tomorrow, Tuesday,
That
the
would be
Magic
the best.
Bags.
Yes,
Magic
please
Bag.
come. It's going to be a celebratory evening. Amazing musicians, clearly. I'm going to be just singing straight from the heart as I do. And people can also find me on Instagram. I'd love to hear from my hometown people. Instagram, Facebook, JESSE PALTER. And of course, now they can find me on the MusicTown Detroit page as well.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much. Great stuff.
Thank you
And
for
good
having
luck with
me
this.
here.
Oh yeah, I'm
Thank
so
you.
glad we could work this in.
It was so fun.
When you were in town.
We'll do
for
it.
that.
We'll do it again.
Certainly. I don't know why I said it that way, but okay. Great guy. You guys are amazing. So and the fact that you haven't really played with her is impressive. So
Barsh and I've done like thousands of gigs together at
Okay.
this point. And I played with you before, but yeah.
But I mean, as a
the-
whole,
the-
you guys,
the
it really were-
testament to their musicianship,
Yeah.
for sure. Thank you guys so much.
good job, good job. And thanks so much. Again, we appreciate you coming in and sharing your music with us and
It's been a
chatting. And
pleasure.
always fun to delve into some things and
Absolutely,
learn
I
about
appreciate
the
the
artists and their music. So, and thanks to all of you out there for watching. We do appreciate that from our beautiful MusicTown studios here in downtown Detroit. Until next time, I'm Pam Rossi. Have a great week.